Hi everyone, Travis Morgan here from Eye of Eternity. Yes, I am sporting off my own merchandise. Um, so I was watching this episode of Concert Junkies with Rob John, and oddly enough, he just came to ask me if I wanted to set up, an interview, and we did. And due to a scheduling conflict, here we are. So, but he left me with a couple of questions to answer for you guys. All right. So the first thing he wanted to know was where we came up with our name. We came up with our name in a karaoke bar about 6 years ago. My cousin Kevin is our lead composer. We were a symphonic metal group. So we came up with this. We were throwing ideas back and forth to one another, and we wanted to make sure that it tied everything in and that everything kind of made sense artistically. And so eventually this idea of the eye that saw all came up. You could do a lot with that conceptually, right? And there you have it. Then we're easily able to, come up with this idea of this eye that sees every single album that we'll ever write. So next, Rob John wanted to know, where did we meet? Well, Kevin, I've known my entire life. But the rest of the group, we've had a couple of different iterations, but the current group that we have roughly came together about 2 years ago. So we've been together ever since, for roughly about 2 years. Where did we meet? Well, we met through various different services, some through social media, some through Craigslist, and others through a service called Bandmix. We are a 7-part band. I'm vocals, then we have 2 guitars, a bass player, an electric violinist. Kevin composes the orchestra. He's not really on stage. And then, of course, we have a drummer. What do we bring on tour? Okay, so for tour, we haven't had any formal tours yet, but for all of our performances, we have stage props. We have a giant mushroom, we have rocks, we have foliage. My mic stand even has, twigs and greenery spiraled up with some flowers to give this dark fantasy feel, because a lot of symphonic metal bands, what they do is they go for the gothic rock side, and the way that we're differentiating ourselves is by doing more of a fantasy thing. So like what you'd hear in our backing tracks for our music is more similarly related to, something you'd hear in a dark fantasy video game or a movie. Do we have any rituals? Not really. I wish that I could say that we do. No rituals before a show. I kind of wish that we did something to amp each other up, but we just kind of get on stage and do our thing. We don't drink. We don't do anything before we get on stage. All clean all the time. But that's not to say that afterwards we don't, have a couple of beers and everything. Our favorite venue happens to be Dingbats in Clifton, New Jersey. It's being run wonderfully by Michelle Messina. They have a great setup. They have great backlining, great shows that come through, great acts. The sound guy is incredible there. I've known the guy for years. And they really do a good job, especially, with all these different types of events that you could play. You have your standard national gigs, you have just like fundraiser shows and local gigs, festivals. I love festivals. They're so much fun. If I wasn't playing music, what would I be doing? Well, I would definitely be creating, either writing poetry or lyrics for somebody else, probably some pickup jobs, writing music. Definitely, as long as I'm creating, I'm happy. And if, you were to ask me, well, what about not creating? Well, then I guess I'd probably be teaching it, but there's definitely not as much passion there to do that, Future materials and like content and whatnot. Okay, so this is a big one because currently, during these events in the world, we're not really able to get things done. Just before all this happened, all of our schedule, our entire schedule to get the album complete, to get the music videos done, to get the artwork for the album and the photos, it all got started, but a lot of people aren't allowed to be working right now on these things for for some reason, you know, especially because they're deemed non-essential, which is really unfortunate because some of the stuff you can just do from home. So we're currently waiting on being able to do those things, and hopefully by the end of the year we'll be able to get some of that stuff out, because we do have a full 12-track album, including one song that is 11 minutes and 50 seconds long. It's so cool. Oh man, I can't wait for people to hear those things. But currently during this time, we're reevaluating our stance with how to get ourselves established. And so we're talking about doing some acoustic pieces, which with an acoustic violin, we could easily still get the same idea across. However, it'll be very, very difficult to establish ourselves, you know, as a symphonic metal band with acoustic pieces. It'd be easier to just, you know, do it the other way, where you establish yourself as a metal band and then you also say, hey, we could also do these acoustic pieces. So, you know, I mean, can't really do very much about that right now, but looking forward to. So just want to thank you for your time, and hope you have a great day.